There is a stillness that comes just before sleep, a sacred silence when the conscious mind loosens its grip and the soul begins to wander. For most, dreams are a fleeting collage of memories and metaphors, but for a rare few, sleep becomes a passage, a doorway to realms beyond the veil. A dear friend of mine is one of those rare travelers. While her body rests, her spirit journeys, not metaphorically, but literally consciously. She finds herself stepping across thresholds most never see, visiting places untouched by time. One such place is what she described to me as the library, a cosmic structure so profound, so infinite in scope, that it defies language. When she first told me about this place, I was stunned. I had always heard whispers of the Akashic Records, but her account painted it not as legend or spiritual metaphor, but as a tangible experiential realm. Her descriptions were vivid, filled with awe and reverence, and in that sacred space, she learned something I had never heard before. The Akashic Records are not just a storehouse of human lives, they are a record of everything. Every thought ever thought, every feeling ever felt, every moment ever experienced. But more astonishing than that, she told me the records also contain the consciousness of every plant and tree, in every universe, timeline and dimension. Imagine that, a database that not only holds your soul's journey, but also the essence of a single blade of grass, the memory of an ancient tree that once swayed in the winds of a long-forgotten world, and the future evolution of a flower that hasn't even bloomed yet. It doesn't stop there. The Akashic Records display each life form's potential trajectory, its evolutionary path. What it was, what it is, and what it is becoming. It's not just a record, it's a living vision of unfolding creation. My friend stood in awe before what looked like books, glowing with ethereal light, yet made of no material she recognized. They seemed to contain holographic pages, images, emotions, and songs that had never been sung in our world. When you arrive in this library, and yes, you will someday, you are not alone. There are beings there often referred to as Akashic librarians. Although the term doesn't do them justice, these guides are radiant, serene presences that seem woven from light and wisdom itself. They don't speak in words, but in impressions. You feel their intentions, their guidance is subtle but absolute. They know exactly where to lead you, to your book. Yes, you have a book here. Every life you've ever lived, and every potential you've ever held, is etched within its folds. But this book is not bound by ink or leather, it is more like a vibrational imprint, a multidimensional tapestry of your soul's journey. With the help of the guide, you are shown your soul's story, not just this life, but thousands of lifetimes. In other realms, other dimensions, universes beyond comprehension. Within the Akashic Records, you may discover that you once lived as a Pleiadian being, tall, luminous, radiating peace. In another life, perhaps you were an insectoid entity from a crystalline world, or a gaseous consciousness that floated through an atmosphere of pure light and resonance. Some lives were spent in fluidic water worlds, where your form was that of a translucent aquatic creature, capable of communicating in frequency and song, building civilizations beneath vast oceans of stars. Other lifetimes may show you existing without form, pure energy, pure awareness, participating in the evolution of reality itself. You realize quickly that what you thought of as you is just a sliver of the totality of who you are. You're not a single story, you're a symphony of lifetimes, playing across the halls of existence. There is something humbling and deeply moving when you come upon the blueprint of your current incarnation. Yes, this life you're living, right now, was designed with purpose. It has a structure, a flow, a web of meaningful intersections. Your blueprint contains the goals your soul set before birth, challenges you agreed to face, lessons you hoped to learn, people you intended to meet. But some pages are veiled. My friend was gently told by her guide that while she was free to explore, anything that needed to remain hidden would remain hidden. This wasn't about secrecy. It was about protection. Because still being incarnated means you're walking a path that is still unfolding. Certain truths, like the moment of your death or key soul-shaking events are sealed until their time comes. To see them prematurely could unbalance the delicate dance of free will and fate. You might wonder, why not allow everyone to access this knowledge? Wouldn't knowing more help us live better lives? In theory, perhaps, but in practice, the burden of such knowledge can be overwhelming. Imagine returning to Earth, after witnessing the beauty, love, and oneness of the higher realms. Everything here might feel dull, distorted, even painful in contrast. That's the paradox. The more you know, the harder it can be to stay here, fully present and engaged. My friend returns from her visits, with only fragments, enough to stir wonder, to remind her of something greater, but not so much that it distracts from her purpose in this life. Sometimes forgetting is a sacred gift, it allows us to live. One of the most extraordinary things she shared with me was about color. She is an artist, a painter who spends hours working with vivid pigments and blends. But even with all her skill, she told me that what she saw in the Akashic realm could never be replicated here. There are colors, she said, that simply do not exist on Earth. Try to imagine that. A hue that your eyes aren't built to perceive. A saturation your brain can't process. It's like trying to explain the taste of sunlight or the smell of a star. She tried, desperately, to mix them, to remember the tones, to recreate even one. But each attempt fell short, and she realized that these colors weren't just visual, they were emotional, energetic. They spoke directly to the soul. The part that struck me most, however, was the revelation about plant life. According to her guide, every type of plant, tree, fungus, or flower, across every world, is catalogued in the records. Not just what they are, but their spirit, their consciousness, their journey. In the higher realms, plants are not passive background actors in the theater of life. They are vibrant, aware beings. They communicate in ways we do not yet understand. They remember. Some trees have lived for thousands of years and hold wisdom beyond comprehension. Others are seeds that will one day bloom into entirely new forms, plants not yet existing in any world, but already dreamed into being in the records. The Akashic Records show their evolution, their potential, like a divine blueprint of flora across the multiverse. Time doesn't move in this place the way it does here. There is no past or future, only presence. The moment you desire to know something, you are there. The records respond not to your hands, but to your intent. They unfold around you. It's as if the entire library is alive, sentient, responsive. Some say the Akashic Records are not just a place, but a consciousness in themselves. A divine mind that holds the dreams of God. So why don't we all remember these things? Why are we born with amnesia, blind to our soul's origins and the greater plan? The answer is simple: to protect the journey. This life is meant to be experienced in real time, with mystery, with curiosity, with choice. If we remembered everything from the start, we wouldn't grow in the same way. We wouldn't become. The veil is not a punishment, it's a gift, a challenge, a sacred forgetting that allows for the most beautiful kind of remembering, the kind you earn through love, suffering, connection, and awakening. When my friend returns from her visits, she carries back more than stories. She brings back vibrations, insights, a kind of inner clarity that glows behind her eyes. She doesn't always remember it in words. Sometimes it's just a feeling, a sense that all is well, that we are watched over, that our lives matter far more than we realize. And when she paints, I swear I can see traces of those otherworldly colors, like echoes of a language our souls once spoke. Someday you'll read your book too. Perhaps in a dream. Perhaps after this life is complete. And you'll see yourself not as you thought you were, but as you truly are, a magnificent soul who has danced through stars and shadows, gathering wisdom, love and light. You'll find the pages, stained with laughter, tears and silent moments no one else saw. You'll see the beauty in your struggles, the meaning behind your pain, and the radiance in your resilience. And when you do, you'll remember that you are not just a person, you are a chapter in the living book of everything. And the story is still being written.